Jaya Kundaviya Munindra Jaya Kundaviya Jaya Kundaviya Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Rama Jaya Kundaviya Jaya Rama Jaya Kundaviya Jaya Madhava Jaya Kundaviya Jaya Jaya Shri Radha Madhava ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Hare Krishna, welcome to everybody, also especially online. Thank you for this opportunity that I'm allowed to speak something about the Srimad Bhagavatam. We are today in 9th canto, chapter 15 and verse 31. It's actually the topics about Paraśurāma, holy topics. Okay, let's read from here. Oh, it's okay, thank you. It's okay, I think. Okay, we are here. Okay, maybe better. Okay. Okay. Yato sa praharat-paraśvadho mano nilaujāḥ para-cakra-sūdanaḥ tatas chinna-bhujoru-kandharā nipetur urvyāṁ hata-sūta-vāhanāḥ para-cakra-sūdanaḥ. Yataḥ wherever, yataḥ wherever. Asau Lord Paraśurāma, praharat slashing, paraśvadhaḥ being expert in using his weapon, that paraśu or chopper. Manaḥ like the mind, anila like the wind. Ojāḥ being forceful, para-cakra of the enemy's military's strength. Sūdanaḥ killer, tatas there, tataḥ and there. Chinna scattered and cut off. Bhuja arms, legs. Kandharāḥ shoulders, nipetur fell down. Urvyāṁ on the ground, hata killed. Sūta chariot drivers, vāhanāḥ carrier horses and elephants. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. So the translation is following. Lord Paraśurāma, being expert in killing the military strength of the enemy, worked with his speed of the mind and the wind, slicing his enemies with his chopper, paraśu. Wherever he went, the enemies fell, their legs, arms and shoulders being severed, their chariot drivers killed, and their carriers, the elephants and horses, all annihilated. Purports by Srila Prabhupada. In the beginning, when the army of the enemy was full of fighting soldiers, elephants and horses, Lord Paraśurāma proceeded into their midst at the speed of the mind to kill them. When somewhat tired, he slowed down to the speed of wind and continued to kill the enemies vigorously. The speed of mind is greater than the speed of the wind. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumilina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manopishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, everyone. Again, we will speak in English. I was asked to speak in English, but I think it's more relevant for everybody. Okay, now we have here a wonderful section. We are in the 9th canto, where also Paraśurāma is described, or we could say, some kind of activity of him. And it sounds a little bit bizarre, and to me it is, but actually, yeah, there are holy activities because he's the supreme, he is an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And actually, maybe let's to go a little bit into the topic. Actually, we are now in the ninth canto, and this ninth canto is actually about liberation. And I try to make some little few thoughts to the verse or connected to our topic. And we are here now in the chapter of liberation, and further, in the canto 9, and this is about liberation. And this chapter 15 in canto 9 is about Paraśurāma, who is the warrior incarnation of the Supreme Lord. And now here in our verse, we hear actually that Paraśurāma is expertly killing the military strength of the enemies, which with a high speed of the mind. And afterwards, if he is so-called a little bit more tired, he goes to the speed to the wind. And this is also described in the verse that we get it again, that the enemies fell down. Paraśurāma used a chopper. It's actually a heavy weapon. It's not like butchers or somewhere use like something like this. Looks like it's actually a really heavy weapon. It's not a very. But actually, if we say which kind of weapon is actually, how to say, fine and nice. Actually, chopper is also not this one, but anyway. And he used his chopper, and the name of his chopper is paraśu, somehow more or less named by Paraśurāma. And actually, it is described. The scene is a little bit described. It is. We can try to imagine it a little bit, how it could look like. I can once remember I was allowed to give a lecture. There was the fight between Varahadev and Hiranyaksha. It was really it's actually a really nice detailed description of this fight. I mean, there are so-called two huge personalities, like also the one incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and one very powerful enemy, like so-called a demoniac enemy, Hiranyaksha. He was actually puffed up also, but actually we know that he's originally actually a devotee of the Lord. But anyway, because the Lord is not fighting with only somebody, actually he needs some really qualified personalities for it. And also in that case, Varahadev fought with Hiranyaksha. And anyway, I don't like to go into details, only for this remembrance, what I get now, that there were many nice details. And somehow I was very inspired by this fight. And even later on, we got from our spiritual master, His Holiness Krishna Kshetra Swami, he likes that his disciples go into the Bhagavatam deeper. And actually, he is inspiring us all the time. Actually, we started with Canto 1 and so continued with Canto 2 and Canto 3, and we are going on Canto by Canto to choose. Every disciple can choose one topic, or one verse, or one topic, or one happening, or one period from the Bhagavatam. For example, from the first canto or second canto, where was, and we should write some kind of essay, or it can be even like a poetry. It can be whatever, what we like, that we have some, that we somehow expand the Bhagavatam. And actually Prabhupada told we should write so many books actually. It is not only that we say, okay, only Prabhupada was writing. He actually asked that we should overflood the world with literature, transcendental literature. And actually the point was also in this case that we should also think, and we should also our experience, we should not speculate for sure, but in a humble way to, and also not to comment the Bhagavatam or whatever, Prabhupada's purpose, but from our own experience, from our own understanding, also to write. And my Gurudev told on this topic that in this way we can present in different kinds of little bit understanding, and we can reach different kinds of personalities who can get access to the Bhagavatam. In anyway, and I was inspired to write about this fighting between Hiranyaksha and Varahadev. It was really nice for me. And actually, I can remember when once Sachinandana Swami told that if we reading these books, for example, the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is good to connect with some kind of feelings, or if we can somehow go more deeper, because then it makes a deeper impact in ourselves, and then we can better connect with it. And actually, if we have connected some activities with feelings, then we store it deeper in our experience, then it goes deeper. And actually Bhagavatam is also, I mean, what means forcing, or maybe forcing or challenging, or asking us sometimes to go in. And if we are open enough for Bhagavatam, to hear Bhagavatam, to relish Bhagavatam, to go deeper in the Srimad Bhagavatam, then we can, or we should go deeper, and also try to deep in the story. And actually also now here it's actually very how to say, it's very dramatic, or it's very heavy actually. It's about slaughtering, actually, we could say. But actually we know that Paraśurāma is the warrior incarnation of the Lord. And we know that the Lord or his incarnations are doing only transcendental activities. And also in this case, Paraśurāma had a reason to do this. It was not without reason. And actually it was a transcendental reason. And actually it started maybe that we have a short gathering of the story and a little understanding. Jamadagni was the father of Paraśurāma, and he was a sage, and I think he was living in the forest. And once Kartavirya-Juna, he was a very powerful king. He had 1,000 arms, and once he was hunting in the forest, and he crossed the residence of Jamadagni, the father of Paraśurāma. And at that time, Paraśurāma was not at home, or was not by his father, but actually his father nicely hosted the king, Kartavirya-Juna, and he tried to satisfy him, because a king is a special person. King is actually the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So far I know, Kartavirya-Juna was worshipping, I think, Dattatreya, an expansion of Narayan, and he became very powerful. That's why he became powerful, like in beauty, strength, and he was not immortal, but we could say almost. With his 1,000 arms, he could fight, and he did sometimes even, we could say, a little bit crazy things. Once he enjoyed with some woman in a river, and with his 1,000 arms, he stopped the how to say, the flowing of the river, and actually even the direction of the floating of the river somehow changed or whatever, and that's why some ashram was floated from I think from Ravana. The ashram was floated, and then actually somehow it came to a fight, and Kartivyarjuna offended with this also Ravana, but whatever, anyway, and the story goes on, and Jamagni was hosting Kartivyarjuna by him at home, and actually Jamagni, the father of Paraśurāma, he had a Kamadhenu, a wish-fulfilling cow. And it was also described in the spiritual world. We have also such cows. And because of this, Paraśurāma's father was, I mean, so-called really wealthy. I mean, he was a sage, he was in a cottage and in the forest, but actually still he was really wealthy because of this cow. He could give everything, supplied everything, what was needed. And somehow Kartivyarjuna was thinking, oh, this is like a sage, should be like a renounced sage, and he's so wealthy. And on that point, actually started Kartivyarjuna's envy to the sage, who's Brahmana. And actually, that was the beginning also of his offense. And then, out of this envy, he decided, okay, let's take away this cow because I'm a king. It would be better if the cow is by me, and why the sage should have such a cow? What's the use? And then he stole the cow, also the calf of the cow. Cow was crying, and anyway, and then they left. They stole the cow, and short afterwards, Paraśurāma visited his father and was aware of this incidents, of this offense of Kartivyarjuna, and he became very angry. Actually, it is described that Paraśurāma is a Brahmana, but with a Kshatriya spirit, so-called. And actually, because he was like the incarnation of he was the incarnation of a warrior. And this chapter is also about liberation. Actually, Paraśurāma was empowered to liberate, so-called. It was the manifestation of a warrior, but also on the same time to liberate some personalities by killing them because of their envious or non-correct behavior, or we could also say because of the adharmic, irreligious way. Bhagavatam is describing, and Prabhupada was in the purports before, that if it comes to that point that rulers in our society go into deeper, gunas, like more into passion and into ignorance, and are not more in sattva gun, where they should be, and they should rule, and they should actually be honest and protecting and giving and representing religious principles. If this goes down and these so-called kshatriyas become envious and whatever else, and unrighteous and adharmic, then actually then they will be killed or annihilated. Huh? Annihilated. Like here in this story. And it came to this point, and then Paraśurāma was really angry, and then he went to Kartivirarjuna's place. And now we hear where we are in the forest. He started his slaughtering, so called, and also with the whole army. It's actually also before it's explained in Bhagavatam that how many soldiers and elephants and charioteers and I don't know, like big amounts, huge amounts of soldiers and whatever. But it was not a problem for Paraśurāma because he was super powerful and he was super quick. And nobody could even see him. It was only arms and legs, and everything was flying around. And not even this was visible of the whole wirbling around. It was quicker than the wind. And it is described here, if he were a little bit more tired, then he slowed down to the speed of the wind. Actually, it is described by Prabhupada in the purport that the mind is super quick. Actually, we can not even in a 1 second, we can think now, for example, Vrindavan, and we can be there by mind, in our mind. We can stay really there. But actually we hear this very often. I mean, I don't know how you are, hopefully better than myself. Everybody's a little bit different with meditation, with the capacity of meditation. And I think it depends also on our modes of nature, how much we are influenced by them, or from which kinds of modes. And I realized in my spiritual life, if we become more a little bit into the direction of sattva guna and more peaceful, and sometimes, at least sometimes, not all the time, it's maybe not possible, but if we sometimes can do it, slow down and be more conscious, more aware, in such moments, maybe we could also better meditate on something. That's why it's important, for example, for japa also, like in the morning time, if possible. And there is more peace, more, then hopefully our mind is also peaceful and we can more meditate, more transform our minds to a place, to a person, to focus, to capture something. And yeah, and the mind is actually, they were disturbed often, but with this speed of the mind, we can imagine like in 1 second we can cross over the universe. We can actually, with, let's say like in 1 second, we can be transformed to the spiritual world. And actually that's why it's also important, not that we should jump in the Bhagavatam, but if you're also reading or hearing and listening from the spiritual world. Actually, we have enough descriptions from our acharyas, and also Srila Prabhupada left us the whole Bhagavatam. And if you are reading also the 10th canto and these wonderful activities from Sri Krishna, but actually, back again a little bit, now we are in the 9th canto, it's before the 10th canto, but also this kind of leelas are actually, for sure, it's not maybe not completely the same. It don't sounds like the cowherd boys were playing with fun and throwing each other with fruits and whatever and laughing and playing in the water with the cows and with the small cows. It's a little bit different scenario when Paraśurāma is here killing and chopping like arms and legs and everything is flooded by blood and whatever. But in some sense, it's described actually, it is still also transcendental. We should not try to see it in a material way, that this is something horrible or this is actually a material mindset. It is transcendental. And it is for the good also for this person. That is like we are in the canto 9 of liberation, actually. And we know we are aware also by the war of Kurukshetra, if the warriors were killed by Krishna, they they all were liberated. It was all benefit for them. Anyway, and but anyway, and a little bit, and afterwards, even afterwards, Paraśurāma was killing, how to say, 21 times the whole Kshatriya dynasty, so whatever, because of this anger. And actually, it looks like, man, it's like really heavy. I mean, to really to slaughter 21 times, but it is actually like somehow an extreme example, and often we face in the Bhagavatam seemingly very extreme situations like this. Like one incident, one car was stolen. I mean, from the father of the Supreme Personality of God. That was maybe like a big mistake. But anyway, whatever, all the stories are made up that we learn. And actually, the main points are we should learn from this. And actually, it was also the point that the rulers should not become puffed up, pride. And Prabhupada is describing that they should, under the control, they should, under the guidance of the Brahmanas, who are more like in sattva gun and more aware about the religious principles or what is right, what is wrong. And if they lose this connection, the Kshatriyas, they become more puffed up and pride to their strength, to their so-called strength and whatever, then actually this is like the beginning of the end. And actually also nowadays we see everywhere, almost, I mean not everywhere, but almost everywhere or in many places of the world is war, and it more and more, how to say, expands, and who knows what will come in the future. But we should not be afraid. Actually, we should take more shelter by Krishna, by the religious principles. And the best so-called and the easiest religious principle is to take shelter by the holy name. And once my Gurudev told me also that, yeah, your Ishtadeva is the Maha Mantra. I was so happy to hear this. So that, let's chant Om Hare Krishna. That's it. It's so simple, so easy. We have so many problems in this Kali Yuga and so many troubles, problems, lack of money, of good relationships and broken relationships, problems, war, fighting amongst each other, even amongst devotees, and so on, and so on, and so on, and so on. Lack of heat, of good weather, lack of everything, actually, lack of capacity of the mind, of health, or so many things. But if we chant Hare Krishna, this is so auspicious. And yeah, then we are in our naturally position. Then we can come to our naturally position. Yeah. And actually, the last point for the end, and actually afterwards, so-called Paraśurāma finished his duty. His father told him, Jamagni told him, Paraśurāma, actually you are Brahmana. With a Kshatriya spirit, of course, but actually you are Brahmana. And actually a Brahmana should tolerate the insults of others. It's actually a really tough thing. I mean, I partly also experiencing it, and I think everybody has to experiencing this point to tolerate to such extent offenses from others almost all the time. If it's our boss or our temple president or temple commander or our wife or our children or whatever, the neighbor or whatever, or even like some animals or whatever, or policeman, or whatever, all the time we will have to, or other persons in the train next to us who like not behaving or whatever. It's all the time we have to tolerate so many things, and this is really important. I mean, we should um, actually, Prabhupada told we should become all gurus, and we should all, in some sense, that don't means that everybody should initiate disciples or like, yeah, we are gurus in ISKCON or sannyasis or whatever. But actually, in some sense, we should teach, we should give an example. We should be nice devotees of the Lord, humble, nice, meek devotees with a good Brahminical behavior and show with this example to others. And one of the most difficult things, actually, once one senior brahmachari told to me, the most difficult thing is to tolerate the ignorance of others. And actually, I was not I was not really understanding what he really means. And actually, afterwards, I meditated a lot on this point, and especially I was also on Sankirtan many years, and on Sankirtan, on book distribution, I realized this point of him. I mean, sorry to say, but sometimes people can be really stupid or really heavy. Really like, it's really hard sometimes to tolerate different things, even from outside people or from family members or from wherever. But still, we have to tolerate all the time. And actually, this is everything connected with ignorance, that we are not aware who we are, that we are spiritual souls, that we are servants of Krishna, eternal servants. We are not living actually maybe so very dharmic or very ethic or very, what to say, like according to uh, this, what is this, etiquette, Vaishnava etiquette. And that's why the relationship starts to be spoiled but actually a real Brahmana or a Vaishnava should tolerate this, because yeah, because then we and actually we can only tolerate if we are really in a deep consciousness, if we are really deep in yeah, if the thoughts of Krishna, if we are aware that we are servants of the Lord and also of others, in a sense that we try to help them, to elevate them, to give them example. And this is not easy. This is not easy. But everybody in some extent has to learn this, because on the end we should be ready for the spiritual world. And if we are not ready, if we cannot tolerate this so-called Kali Yuga, how to say, behaving, or yeah, we see everywhere it's like really chaotic, really, yeah, it's not like not devotional behaving. But actually, if we can overcome this in a humble mood, yeah, then hopefully we will be also liberated. Maybe not by Paraśurāma personally, but by the Maha Mantra or by Krishna, by Prabhupada, through our behavior. And these stories should also help us to become clarified, become cleansed, and yeah, we should meditate in a sense that yeah, we should go further and deeper in our spiritual life and maybe tolerate more or whatever. Yeah, thank you very much in this sense. Thank you for listening. Maybe if some comments, questions, regards. Oh, somebody's coming by the door, rushing in. Uddhav Prabhu is rushing in.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank
Hare
you
Krishna.
for a very wonderful lecture.
Thank you very much.
I have one question.
Yes.
In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in one place he instructed asat sanga tyage hi Vaishnavacharya. One should give up the company of
Non-devotees.
non-devotees. Yes. So many times when we see there are people even in our society in lower modes
Yes.
who we may need to tolerate, as you said, but sometimes it disturbs in Krishna consciousness also. So is it not better that we just avoid them and carry on the Krishna consciousness and teaching, or we just keep taking the suffering, because finally devotional service is meant for serving Krishna, and of course one of the effect of it is all auspiciousness comes.
Yeah.
So how to understand when to give up the association and when to keep tolerating?
Cool. Big questions. Thank you. I don't know where should I start because, okay, again, if the question is the first part, should we really give up, or is it how to say, in which sense, or how we should really give up or not?
Yeah, so when to tolerate and when to give up.
Okay, when to tolerate the association? It's a very good question. Actually, I had some. I mean, I'm experienced many different situations in my life. Also outside, somehow with so-called karmis, we say karmis, but actually they are not even karmis. Actually, I don't like to offend, but actually not long ago, actually they are karma is actually who is acting according the Vedic scriptures. Maybe not even in a supreme consciousness, Krishna consciousness, but at least through some how to say guidance of the Vedic scriptures under some Vedic regulations. But anyway, mainly the people are not. But anyway, this is a different point. But how how far we tolerate them? Actually, I went to many situations in life with people with so-called materialistic people, non-religious people, and also with devotees or new devotees or whatever. Also with very experienced devotees. And yeah, this is a very fine, settled thing where we have to train, but actually we have to collect our own, how to say, experience. I mean, many situations are coming. Yesterday, Maharaj Bhakti Ananda Tirtha Swami told that we should be all the time aware. Actually, if a fall down is happening, somehow like we are not aware a longer part. And actually, somehow I'm happy, I'm thankful that I try to be aware, at least so far I can, about almost all the situations in life, or so far it's possible. And I try also to analyze them or to understand them or to get out the meaning of the situation or what is the purpose or what is the value or how can I use it, how can I understand it or how can I develop it. And anyway, it's like a good question because we should be careful. And I also realized if we become more peaceful in mind, more aware of the situation, then we have the chance to make a choice or to understand when is the situation right or how can I act in a right way in a situation or to this question on which part I leave or skip this relationship or on which part or which point I can go further and try maybe to preach or to help this person to go further in Krishna consciousness. And I think it's also a question of how far we like to be guided by Krishna in our hearts. If we like to be guided by Krishna, if we have that, everything is according to desire. If we are more open for it, please Krishna guide us, please Krishna really help us. And we are in our different situations of life, we are taking really often shelter, we are praying, and actually it becomes a normal in our life that Krishna is guiding us. If we all the time think to Him, to pray to Him, then, and if we are really ready that Krishna is guiding us, then He's helping us, and then we can become more easier aware of the situation, on which point we should leave, or on which point we should go on further, like for example, to inspire somebody. And I made many different situations. I had many different situations, especially on book distribution, where I also had to be very aware on which point I'm pushing further to give the book, so-called. I mean, not in a really pushy, like in a passionate way, but in a transcendental way, where you see, oh, there is a chance, and where you see sometimes clearly, even sometimes on the beginning of the what means relationship or of the contact with one person, I felt, no, let him go, let him go. He's not the person who will take your book. Not that we try to ourselves to decide, but sometimes we get some inspirations from inside and we can feel we don't waste time. You see some different kind of behavior of the persons when they, and actually maybe connected with this point because it's interesting here by Karti Arjuna, what we saw by him, what was the main point by him, his main mistake. What was his main mistake? Where was the point of where his really mistake started?
Mistakes.
What was his, yeah, what was the core of his mistake? Where he made the point of, where he made the, what was that point?
Who regarding to
Karti Arjuna. Why he started to become offense? What was this offense? What was the?
That's my thoughts is that
How?
that have a many, yeah, but if we go chronologically deeper, it's not only this is expression
For
of
sure.
his
Yeah. For
earlier
sure. Yeah, for sure.
motivation and earlier attitude and consciousness.
Yeah, for
This
sure.
is just result.
Yeah, this is the
So
result.
it started much earlier.
Yeah, for sure.
This is just an act of offense, but always starting much earlier with our attitude, with our motivation, what we want to do with us, with
Yeah.
ourselves. He wanted obviously to be enjoyer,
Yeah,
so that's the beginning of his
yeah, for sure.
going down.
Yes, and
When you
actually,
decide to be enjoyer,
yeah,
then all these results is just a ways of
Yeah.
offend somebody.
and actually,
So, sorry.
So yeah, actually, we heard he worshipped Dattatreya, and he became more powerful and powerful. And somehow this is like then you think you step over God almost, like, and he became more powerful and wealthy and beauty, and then pride comes up, and this pride, and also that he's then the enjoyer, like the same point. And then also from this envy came to others, why he, why not I? And that was like the circle down. And actually that was like where here Krishna or Paraśurāma had to come in and smash the pride. And it's actually all the time the same. And if we detect by persons that is too much pride, too much, they are too much. So you cannot go further if there's no humility. Actually, a teacher is also looking, actually a teacher should be aware whom he can give knowledge. Somebody who is not humble enough. It's actually, not so long ago I read from, what is his name? Krishna. Sorry, I read a book and there was explained that actually the beginning of the book was starting with not only the teacher should be qualified, but also the disciple. If the disciple has not the right qualification to hear, to be humble, to serve, then the whole relationship cannot function. It's very, very difficult. If he's pride, if he don't likes to take up knowledge, don't likes to, he's challenging, then actually nothing goes on. Then it's not a flow, not a circle come from giving and taking. From an actually loving relationship, then love cannot work. This how to say this? Yeah, this circle of love cannot start. And I realize this, and if we are aware more of these topics, then we can more go in, okay, what is now the relevant, where can this love start in a humble way, in a nice way, or where not, where is it blocked? You feel it's no relations, nothing there. And if we try to push to teach them, then it's actually offense. Then it's an offense to the holy name, actually. I also recognize it if we push people to, yeah, do this and do that, to should. This is like this is not real. This is not real Brahminic giving knowledge. It's like This is like only hampering with the. And this is actually what we see often in the world. What religious people are doing. They are not aware. They are not ripe enough to feel the situation, how we should act, how we should give up. And you say, okay, Hare Krishna, very nice. Yeah, see you next time. You can visit or whatever. And then you break down the situation because you see there is not a chance for growing for them, or at least not now. Or you can pray for him or whatever, but not in a confrontation or what means or in a connection. In the other case where you see or you feel, you recognize, oh, this loving exchange can happen. This taking, giving, listening, this, this Dadati Prati Krishnati in some sense, it can start to flow. Then we can go in. And then it's really nourishing, and then Krishna is there, and then the person is inspired, and you are inspired to say, and he is inspired to hear, and so on and so on. And then it's really, then you can start to inspire the person. And then something grows, something is planted in his heart in a humble way. If you do it in a humble way, then it's really nice. And then people can take up, because then it's a sign of love. This is not a sign of force. You try to pull over them something, Uddhav Prabhu, is your...
Yes, thank you very much. Perfect.
You're
Hare
welcome.
Krishna.
You're welcome. I hope it helps. Hare Krishna. Okay, I don't know how much time it is. I don't know how far we can go or we should go. Somebody else maybe has something. How long we can go further? Or we should slowly enter?
As much as you like.
I don't know if maybe somebody from the, how to say, congregation, if maybe somebody likes to ask something or something is, but I don't know how it works, but they can speak freely. Huh?
Yeah, they are here.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, it seems like...
Anyone has questions?
Okay, I think it's a naturally end. Thank you for your attention. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai,
Munindra Prabhu ki jai.
Gurudev ki jai. Krishna Chaitanya. Is this recorded somewhere, or is this?
This is all.
Would it be possible, because I have a YouTube channel? Would be